The table here on this, guys. And Brad, as a consultant here, you're figuring out constituencies all the time. Between women and Latinos, is there a demo that more than any other is going to swing this one way or the other in November?
Yeah, well, I think the women are probably one that will swing this thing. But I think there's also something else we need to think about. We talk about the hole that's been dug during the GOP primary. What we don't understand also is the fact that jobs will become a main focus, and they're trying to make it a main focus. And when it comes to Latinos, when it comes to women, the argument can be made that under Obama that they've done the worst when it comes to jobs. They're the ones who are most unemployed and the ones who need the most help. And that's where the Republicans will come in and lend a helping hand in generating excitement in the economy and the growth that would be expected.
But that sounds a little bit like a bad husband coming around on the anniversary with with a bouquet of flowers. See, I loves you, honey. I mean, all the history stacks up against the Republicans in all of the legislation that they put forward so far. The challenge from the Democrats is going to be to make sure that voters know about it. Because as much as we may say that there's a war on women, it's really only being picked up by the people who follow politics day in, day out. There's a large percentage of the population.
I was going through, Andrew, some of the stuff that's happening state by state here. It's crazy stuff, Dominic. I mean, we don't hear about it maybe in the Northeast as much, but some of the stuff, and I'm not just talking in Timbuktu, I'm talking in Maryland, North Dakota. You go state by state, it's some crazy stuff. But I think the president, it's a little bit of a tougher sell than maybe we say it. Because if all of a sudden he keeps saying, I feel your pain at the bottom here, right? I understand they're cutting aid for dependent children and we're cutting social safety nets. This is hurting you guys. And I'm with you, Latinos, right? I'm going to try and make sure that you have a place at the table here. In some ways, is he almost playing into the other side's hand to say, see, this is the great, guy who's trying to do wealth distribution here, and he's trying to penalize the job creators. He doesn't get how to put jobs back on the American home.
Excellent point, because the more the president makes that case,
go ahead, yeah.
the more the president makes that case, he can fall into that trap. But you started out by asking the question about demographics, and I'm going to make up one here. In terms of, you talked about the Latino vote, the gender gap, here's one I'm going to make up for you. Voter apathy. If Obama does not turn out his base, you have to remember the record numbers of young people of color, of progressives that voted for him. If he doesn't match that, and that's why polling now shows this race is neck and neck.
Excited and have major turnout this fall, you guys, by saying, you better be afraid of the other guy. If the other guy gets in here, just so you're going to put on the hype.
Yes,
but don't you need turnout to be enthused about the main candidate?
Here's the thing is, Obama, and to the Republicans' credit, by stopping every single proposal that he's had for the last year and a half, has done nothing. Okay? And since that's the case, he can't point to anything that he's done that he can say, look, if I'm president, I could do this, I've done this for you, and I can even go further. Because the problem is he's put together proposals, they've gone nowhere, but nobody knows that. Nobody digs into that.
But let me tell you one that he can deliver to the Latino community. He can say, look at your Supreme Court. Those of you minorities that don't like Clarence Thomas, look at the woman, the first Latino that looks just like you, that I put on the Supreme Court. That goes a long way.
That's a very good point. And that will go. And that is something that if you're a progressive, you're a liberal, you're a Democrat, I'll tell you something, even if you're or an independent and you're socially liberal, this next presidency will change that dynamic on the Supreme Court at more than we've ever seen. And this is something that, again, there's so many unaffiliated. Yeah. If they're going to move to the right on this case, we're in trouble.
We're going to talk more about it in the next segment here as we're going to break down as we look at some new numbers here. Whatever we're saying, whether about the Latino vote, and the gender gap is, as Dominic said, and they're breaking big for Obama. As we sit here tonight, this Wednesday evening, Obama and Romney are in a dead heat. But when it comes to likability, well, not so much. The question is, does it really matter who you like? Well, we're going to get into that a lot more as we talk about real politics.